Hi, Facebook and medical moguls. This is Dr. Jen, and I'm here tonight to give you 5 quick tips for getting out of debt for financially fit physicians. I wanted to give you just a couple of things that you could do right now that will make a big difference overall in your wealth building, in your long-term financial plan. So the first tip, we'll call it actually step 0, would be to make a plan. So right now you could be living paycheck to paycheck, not really struggling, but not really getting ahead. The first thing you have to do is decide that that's no longer how you want to live, and you need to create a plan. The easiest way is to decide that you want to be debt-free, because then all the money that's coming in will no longer be going out to pay everyone else, and your wealth accumulation will be astronomical. So step 0 is create a plan. Decide that you want to have a plan. Okay, so let's move on to step number 1. Step number 1 is really the hardest, and it's really coming to terms with everything you've done in your life till this point. Step number 1 is to get a piece of paper, to use your laptop, use Excel, and make a list of all your debts. Every single thing. From the dentist bill, to your old cell phone bill, to your student loans, to your car, the total balance of the car, not the car payments, your mortgage, make a list. Once you have it on paper or on your computer, just sit for a minute and look at that. Look and see how much money you owe the world. It's going to be a bit frustrating, and it's going to seem a bit overwhelming, because there's going to be so much either, emotions that come over. It's going to be either guilt or just kind of apathy of there's just no way I can take care and pay all of this. But if you write it down, that means you're taking the power back. You are saying, this is just money and I can overcome this. So figure out the best way. If you want to be high tech and do it on the computer, if you just need the pen and paper and you can just literally see everything you owe, but that's what you should do first. Write out all of your debts. All right, so what's the next step? The next step is not to create any new debt. So most of us are of the mindset where you kind of say, all right, can I afford this? All right, the payment's $3.99 a month. The payment for this is $700 a month. Well, I can afford that. No, that does not mean you can afford it. What does affording it mean? For financially fit physicians, that means you can pay cash. You can literally write a check and pay for something. If you want to take vacation, you can pay for it. If it's $5,000, you write a check, you pay it on your debit card, you pay for it. That means that you can afford it. You have to shift your mindset from monthly payments. Monthly payments are the man's way of keeping you in debt. They're not making these monthly payments convenient to work with your budget. They are making money off of you. This is your hard-earned money, money you are paying taxes on. So you have to even make more money just to pay them. So once you make a plan, write all your debts, do not create any new debts. If you can't write a check for it, you can't afford it. That does not mean in the future you won't be able to get it. But just for right now, put it to the side. I cannot afford it. All right, so what's the next step? The next step is tell your money where to go. So it's not the same as a budget. If you use the word budget, it feels very restrictive. It's telling me I can't buy this because it's not in the budget. I can't do that. No, your dollars will walk off without you. If you have a plan for every dollar, you will tell it where to go. Money is a great servant. You tell it, I am going to pay this bill right now. I am sending it to the car note right now. And guess what? Those balances are going to fall very, very quickly. But you have to be direct. If you just have money coming in and sitting in your account and then you go out to eat, etc., it's gone. You didn't tell your money where to go. So the next step, that's step number 3, is tell your money where to go. Figure out what you owe monthly and direct it individually. All right, what's the next step? All right, so we know how much we owe overall. We have a plan to figure out all these monthly payments, what we're paying, and we're directing our money there. How do we actually start paying off debt? So we start paying off debt by choosing one of two methods, either the snowball method or the avalanche. And it really depends on what type of person you are. So the snowball method is a way to pay off debt that's more, let's say, emotionally rewarding. So you have these monthly payments, and you're going to list your debts, the overall balance, from smallest to largest. You are going to start, this is regardless of the interest rate, you're going to start with the lowest balance. So let's say you owe, I don't know, $70 to a dentist, and it's been kind of hanging around there, but they're not sending you to collections or anything like that. So you would pay that off first. All right, so obviously you found $70 somewhere. What you would do is go to the next largest balance, and the next month you're going to pay that minimum payment. Then you're going to also pay that additional $70. You found it last month, you could find it again this month. Remember, you are now telling your dollars where to go. And what you're going to notice is it starts pretty small, and as you add all of these additional payments on one at a time, your ball gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it's basically taking out these large debts in very fast swoops. You will get out of debt much more quickly if you are emotionally motivated to keep that ball rolling. So that's one option, snowball method. Okay, what's your other option? Your other option is the avalanche method. And this is for the more like mathematically inclined nerdy people. And this is the one where you overall pay less money to your debts because of the lovely thing called interest. So what you're going to do is you're going to actually list your debts from highest interest rate to lowest interest rate. So if you have a student loan that you owe $10,000 and it's at 7%, and then you owe, I don't know, $350 at 2%, you're going to work on funneling all of your extra money, telling your dollars where to go, to that highest debt to pay it off more quickly. Why? Because that highest debt, every single day, you're paying more on it. You're paying interest. And if you can get it knocked out as quick as possible, the overall amount of debt you have will be much less. So that's the avalanche method. If you want to be mathematically correct, you should pay it in the avalanche method. All right, so we have a plan. We know exactly who we owe and how much we owe. We are now telling each of our dollars where to go. It's not a budget. We are in charge of our money. We have chosen to either do the snowball or the avalanche method. So what's the next option? The next thing you do is automate it. If you can automate your finances, you are doing well. What does this mean? That means that you automatically pay those payments. You are comfortable enough at what's coming in and what's going out that you're not worried if there's enough money in the bank. You are no longer robbing Peter to pay Paul. You have the money because you know where every single dollar is going. You are no longer going to incur late fees. Your interest will be minimal. So if you can automate it, the other advantage is many companies will give you a discount. Definitely for student loans, they will decrease your interest rate, sometimes by 0.25%. So overall, you're actually paying less. So once you have your financial plan in place, you can automate your finances. You're no longer worried about opening the mail. You know it's been paid. You no longer have late fees. You know it's been paid. So once you become financially fit, your finances will be automated. I hope this was very helpful and you guys have learned something. And this is Dr. Jen, and I'll be back next week with another few tips on how to become a financially fit physician. Take care.